Hey San Antonio, this is Rob from the MetalWorks. Tonight I'm here at Bonds 007 for a very special event, and it brings me such great pleasure to welcome Jason, Mick, Tairrie, and Chris, collectively known as My Ruin, here to Bonds 007 in San Antonio. How's everyone doing tonight?
We're doing great, ready to rock in the hot heat here in one of my favorite cities I haven't been to in a really long time. So I hope some people come out and rock with us.
How you doing, Mick?
Doing fantastic. First time in San Antonio and loving it so far.
There's a lot to talk about, and I want to jump right in just a little bit initially about the history of My Ruin, because there's going to be some people here tonight who are watching the program who for the first time will be hearing about My Ruin, despite the fact that you guys have been around for about 5 years now. Tell us, Tairrie, a little bit about the inception of My Ruin, and then how it kind of creatively blossomed into this partnership that you have with Mick.
Well, as you know, because you interviewed me years ago, I was in a band called Manhole back in 1996, and Rob interviewed me on the Typo Negative tour, and then we got sued for our name and became Tourist Satana, and he interviewed me again, and I ended up quitting the band Tourist Satana at the end of 1998 and decided I was going to go alone, do a solo project, and needed a name after I recorded with a bunch of different people. I didn't have a band, just a lot of musicians and friends that were helping me record, and I called it My Ruin. I thought it was kind of fitting because everyone said if you quit your band it's going to be your ruin, and obviously it wasn't. But I met Mick after I recorded my first album, which was Speak and Destroy. We met, and we've actually been a couple. A lot of women in metal don't like to ante up to the fact that their band member is their boyfriend. They like to keep it very quiet. But
And I'll admit I didn't know that until recently.
Really?
Very recently, yeah.
We never hide that, honey. We're right out there. And so we've been together for almost 6 years now. And we did our first record together in 2000. It was called A Prayer Under Pressure of Violent Anguish. And we kind of turned My Ruin into a band. And it wasn't until really recently, this February, when we went in to do our brand new album, The Brutal Language, that everything kind of changed drastically. Our band members, our drummer and our bass player, quit the band during the recording after we recorded them. So Mr. Murphy came in and he re-recorded everything. He was producing the album. Wow. He played drums, bass, and guitar, and he actually sang with me on a song on a Mudhoney cover. And Nick Raskulinix, who's been a friend of ours for years. Can you hear the rock in the background? That's right. Came in and he had just finished up the new Foo Fighters record. He heard ours and he decided to mix it for us. So everything kind of fell in place, and then we decided, well, we're going to put our band together now, a new band. We didn't really let it go out all over the internet and everywhere we were looking. It just kind of fell into place. We met Chris, through a mutual friend in Soil, who I'm sure you're familiar with, Sean Glass. And his old band, 1% Soul, the singer had just moved to Soil, AJ. So he said, I know the perfect guy for you guys, bass player. We met Chris, and then we happened to know Jason, who he also knew and worked with in another band. It was just really ironic. Like, everything just came together very naturally, and we put them on the album. They didn't play on the album, but their pictures are on the album because they brought our record to life for us and sort of came in when certain people left us, and we felt they deserved to be on the record and be a part of what we're doing. They're touring it, making it happen. So.
And being here, part of things like this.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now ask Mick a question.
I wanted to add to that real quick. Funny enough, it's like I had known Chris for years. You know, we had run into each other in Hollywood, and he'd come to see My Ruin, and I also knew Jason too, so it was really comfortable having them come into the band, instead of just being cold, like two guys that I didn't have any idea about. I already knew that I liked them and that they were good people. Then they came in and proved that they're great musicians too, so the whole thing is great, and their pictures are on the album because to us they are a part of it all. Right. And this is a band.
Our band actually looks now like the music we play. That sounds kind of strange, but we used to get lumped into a lot of categories because we had women in the band, and Mick would get overlooked. He would always be like the chick band, the woman, and we're like, wait a minute, the guy writes all the music, I write the lyrics, but without him there'd be no band. And I felt like he got overshadowed a lot by the whole novelty girl factor, and we got lumped into bands like, I won't mention, but bands that we're not really into, that we don't feel like we are in that genre really. We just don't. And now I feel like our band finally looks like we sound, and
they're focusing on the music now.
Yeah, they're focusing on the music. It's not, of course I'm the front woman, but you know what? without the guys doing it, there'd be no band, you know, and I know that, so.
I'm really glad to get you in front of the camera, Mick, and I'm glad to share you with the people out there, because I've heard that they're one of the best kept secrets in metal guitar, and I'm going to witness it tonight, man. Tell me a little bit. I've read about this release having its own distinct flavor with regards to when you compare it to some of the earlier My Ruin work.
Yeah.
The quintessential piece of My Ruin. What separates this release maybe from what you've done previously?
I just think that there's no filler on this record at all. It's pretty straightforward, but yet it's intricate, you know what I mean? And it's kind of evolved into our style, and it's a little bit less rigid and more rock and roll, more on the fly, lots of guitar solos and rock and roll style vocals,
right.
And, you know, cool changes and stuff. You know, it's like we just wanted to have fun with it and make it heavy, but also just, you know, fun to listen to, you know, and that's what we're trying to do.
I've been one of the very fortunate people to get my hands on the Brutal Language CD, and it just came out yesterday.
Yeah.
So I'm very happy to have been jamming out to it all day today. I love it. I love it. I've been cranking it loud on my PC. And I got to give a big shout out to Jensen out there at Adrenaline for overnighting it to me. We've been jamming it. But there's always been, Tairrie B, with you, especially this imagery of religion and anguish and torture and pain. Talk a little bit. I have to ask you about the lyrics with regards to the Brutal Language. Where are you coming from? What are you saying to the people out there?
Well, I think that with all of my records, I mean, Manhole was very much an activist record. You know, I talked about rape and abortion and women's rights and, you know, pro-choice issues. I was very much sort of a media exorcist in a way, and came out very political. And I think on the Tourist Satana record, I sort of delved into the more religious relationship vibe. So that kind of carried over with all my records, and even to now. I mean, I think people always say to me, what's your religion? Are you a religious girl? Is that what this is all about? And I say, no, you know, my religion is relationships, and
right.
I just talk about, you know, the different relationships I've had. And I think that on our last record, The Horror of Beauty, you know, I think I was more angry coming at people with certain things. There's been a way I've been for many years of, you know, I change it up here and there, but it's always kind of an outward angry point in your face, naming names. And I think on the new record, it's more of an introspective, metaphorical, kind of laid back. You want to figure it out? I'm not going to tell you what the songs mean. You can figure it out for yourself and interpret them the way that, you know, you feel them. Because I think that's kind of cool. There's a lot of artists that I feel like that. You know, PJ Harvey, Monster Magnet, Nick Cave, where I listen to it and I'm like, they're not bluntly saying this, but you've got to think about what they're talking about. And I think it's kind of clever like that. Tourist Satana was kind of like that.
I also think that you guys are leading a kind of like a new wave now, where bands are kind of taking the back end work, the business side of the work, into their own hands. I know that you guys are doing like your own label, your own licensing now. Talk about Rovena Recordings. Is that how you say it?
Rovena.
Rovena. Talk about that a little bit.
Well, basically, it's like we're a hands-on band. We've always been very involved in the business and what's going on, and we just took it to the next step where we kind of eliminated the middleman. And it, you know, it's a lot of work, but at the same time, it alleviates stress to kind of know, you know, where your money's being spent, know who you hired, hire who you want to hire, and be in control of what's going on. And that works well for us.
You want to add anything to that, Tairrie?
Well, I think that, you know, it was a long time coming. We've been with different labels, and people are always like, oh, they don't get along with their labels. But when you put your faith into a label, and there are people working from 9 to 5, and at the end of the day, they're just like, fuck them. They don't really care. You know, we're still working till 12 in the morning, and I'm going, wait, this is my band, this is my life, you know. And we were on Century Media on the last record. We had a 3-album deal. We were not dropped. People think we were dropped. We actually asked to leave, which, you know, it kind of broke my heart, because I really love the president, Marco Barbieri, who you may know. He's been around in the industry for many years and great supporter of My Ruin, still is to this day. But I respect him a lot, and I have nothing bad to say, because he let us go, and he said, if you were ever unhappy, I'd let you go. And we kind of decided, well, let's make our let's do it ourselves. Let's make our own way. You know, if we fail, at least we can blame ourselves. And when we kind of came up with the idea, the imprint was offered to us, and we were like, well, this is going to be pretty crazy. Can we do it? You know, I don't know. But so far, everybody we've been working with has been great. We came up with the name Rovena because ruin in Italian is Rovina, R-O-V-I-N-A,
Okay.
and novena, prayer in Spanish, and I thought the prayer, novena, Rovina together, so I kind of made up my own little word, which is like a prayer for ruin, a ruin prayer, and you know, kind of fitting. So
Let me take an opportunity now to share some of the new faces of My Ruin with the people out there. Chris, talk a little bit about what it's been like playing shows with Tairrie and Mick. I know that this is the second part of the double shot for rock tour.
by Jägermeister with our friends in Bleed the Sky.
Tell us a little bit about Chris. How the show's been going? What's the reception been like to the material live?
Overall, it's been great. Coming into it, I mean, I knew the background of the band, and knowing that this was really going to be our opportunity to promote the new record. When we toured in August, kids didn't really know the new songs,
Right.
but they still were up there, fists in the air, rocking every show. And we'd get off the stage, and kids would be really receptive to Jason and I, which I was nervous about coming into it.
Right.
You know, there's a hardcore following of My Ruin, and that was one of the things that really made me feel welcome, was knowing that we are new. This is the first time people are even seeing our faces in a lot of circumstances, and we were still being accepted, you know, and it's like, it's a family. It's very much, with Mick and Tairrie being on the road, we learned a lot about each other in August, and now we're going back out again, and we're really excited because the record's out now.
Right.
So it's, now that the record's out and the kids are going to know the songs, hopefully, it's going to take it to that next level, you know, as opposed to just going out there for the first time and kind of rolling the dice and taking your chances. You know, I mean, I know what they're capable of. People didn't know what we were capable of, you know, so now hopefully people will get a chance to see that.
I've read some literature and interviews where Mick has said this band's fun again. There's not this drama that used to maybe exist before. Talk a little bit about the chemistry. I mean, it's great to see bands who are also comrades aside from while they're not on stage.
Definitely. I mean, we're best friends, you know.
Are you still mad at me today?
Yeah. That's why I'm
You're not looking at me, right?
Mick and I,
Chris can lie all he wants, but you know what? He's
You
one of
know,
our best friends.
Mick and I have a lot in common. You know what I mean? Jason and I, the three of us as guys in the band, it's amazing the camaraderie that we have, the brotherhood that we have, and the sisterhood that Tairrie brings to that, because we are all very similar.
Right.
We're very different in a lot of ways too, but the similarities are what makes us friends. You know, the differences are what we learn from each other. And being in a van 24 hours a day, you know, obviously there's going to be issues. There's going to be
We
things.
do get to go to a hotel once in a while.
Once in a while, yeah. But, you know, when it comes down to it, we're with each other 24 hours a day. So it's important to be friends. And I've never had a band where I've been this close with every member. You know, I've been in a handful of bands in my lifetime, and there's always like one person that you're kind of looking at like, you know, all right, whatever, you know. But I think the four of us, I don't even remember what your question was, I'm sorry.
And we have a killer. Wait, I have to interject. And we have a killer merch girl.
And Alana, our other little sister.
Yeah, we have another member of this band we consider a family, which is our merch girl, who's on tour with us, and she's amazing.
Cool. Any double X's in the
I think so.
in the old T-shirt
I think so.
box tonight?
Yeah.
All right. Jason, share a little bit about your feelings about My Ruin. Do you think, or do you, I hate to put you on the spot, but I will, do you think or do you anticipate that this is a new beginning? I mean, are you looking ahead maybe even to the next record, like we're going to really be a part of this for the long run, or is this something yet to be deciphered?
For me to step into this band, obviously IL had been in the band for 5 years, so I knew what I was stepping. I'm sorry. I knew what I was stepping into, and I had seen these guys 5 years ago, and they blew my head off. So the opportunity with Chris, who I was in another band with, to be able to join in, I mean, it's a lot of intensity, that's for sure. And I mean, it spills all over the place, and that's the best thing, is I have the best seat in the house. I get to sit here and watch the hair twirls and him slamming and her rolling around and screaming in people's faces. And I'm just back there trying to keep up. I mean, it's a good time. So yes, I'm totally would love to see what we could all come up with together, because you never know. It could be, and with with him doing all this stuff is insane. And then
That's not a guarantee.
you don't even have to worry about what Tairrie puts over the top of. It's always brilliant. So Chris and I are definitely excited about anything in the future, and it gets more and more fun as we get to know each other, like Chris said. So yeah, more whiskey.
Well, I wish all of you the best. Go ahead.
I just want to add that I look forward to the next album, and I think it's going to be great having these two involved. I think the band's stronger than ever. Like you said, that you heard me say, it's fun again, and it's all good, man.
You're in the band now.
It's great. I'm having a blast. So.
We quickly mentioned the double shot of rock tour, and it's going to go on until November. Can you forecast for what lies ahead in 06 as far as touring?
Absolutely. We just actually did a licensing deal with Undergroove Records.
In Europe?
In Europe and England. With the funniest thing, funny enough, my used to be arch nemesis Darren Sadler, who is also one of the editors of Rock Sound UK, which he's just amazing that we are such good friends now. And then he offered us a deal. He heard the record and was like blown away and said, I want to do it. So we're going out to the UK. It comes out November 7th over there. Going to the UK to tour for a lot of December, and then we're going to be going to Europe in late January.
Where you guys have a lot of fans in the UK.
I'm really excited. I can't wait to bring these guys over there. It's kind of like it's going to be new. It's, you're seeing everything again through brand new eyes when you get to bring new members. It's like, even though it's old hat for us, it's like, yeah, look at the kebabs. Yeah, look at the cathedrals, the kids. All the little shit that is so, but it's like so, little shit.
Or you can eat a kebab and take a big shit.
Right.
We last year spun the video for Made to Measure. I dug that video, and for programs like mine regionally, those things are important. You do more videos.
Well, we're actually filming a lot of live stuff on the road, and when we get back, we're going to put together a cool video. A little, to be honest, I'm not really into the whole, you'd think I would be, but I want to do a video that's a little bit different and a little bit more, not so perfect looking.
Well, maybe you can include some Rob's MetalWorks stuff in there.
Yeah, not so staged where it's like, we don't want to be actors, and we don't want to it's like we just want to put together a video that kind of captures the vibe of what we're doing right now. Instead of setting up in a studio and, trying to look.
$1 million to make a cool video, and every video to me on MTV now is like a fast food commercial.
Yeah.
Mick and I have joked about this forever. We're just like, everything just looks so over-processed. Just like so many bands that are out now are so over-processed and perfect. And we're not perfect. I don't want our music to come across like we're trying to be this pop, rock commercial. It's just not.
As we end out, there's just a couple of other things I want to ask. One is I want to give you and Mick an opportunity to share a little bit about your spoken word stuff. I don't think a lot of people are aware of that.
Mick and I have a spoken word project. It's called The Lovers, LVRS, and meaning love, violence, religion, and sex. And it's a lot of short stories with musical soundscapes, a lot of things that I can't really discuss in my ruin, things that I don't really want to be doing every night on stage. They're very personal, and they're true stories, most of them. The project is kind of based around death. The first record, The Murder of Miss Hollywood, is a homage to the Black Dahlia murder, which is a famous LA murder in the 40s. And the second record, The Secret Life of Lola Burns, is an homage to Virginia Woolf. And we're actually going to be putting out The Lovers in the UK on Undergroove. We're doing a compilation kind of songs from both with some new ones, with a new title, and doing that for Valentine's this next year. So it's just something we do on the side that we like and kind of different. And we sell it at shows and online, our website. Mick also does something that's very cool, Neanderthal.
Yeah, it's instrumental metal that I just, it's riffs that I come up with or whatever ideas that we don't use for my ruin, things that might be a little bit crazier or just different styles of rock and stuff, so I just do that for fun. I put together a 13-song CD that I sell.
You guys have that stuff here tonight?
Yeah.
Tonight. I don't know if we have any.
I've got a couple Neanderthals.
I'll have to pick some of that stuff up. Any last words before we end out, Chris?
I just want to say thanks for coming down, and I want to thank everybody that's watching, and hopefully you guys pick up a copy of The Brutal Language.
I just want to say I want my videotapes from Rob from 1996 and 98.
98.
And I'm going to be adding this one to the list. I hope we get a chance. Thanks everybody in San Antonio for rocking with my ruin. And if you haven't heard of us, you hear of us now. Go check out the Brutal Language.
And I just want to thank Satan, because without him, none of this would be possible.
San Antonio, thank you for tuning in tonight. You've learned all about the band My Ruin. Don't forget, the new one is out on the streets already. It's out on Rovina Recordings. It's called The Brutal Language. Here's the cover work. Be sure to go pick that shit up right now. You saw My Ruin right here, only on Rob's Metalworks.